What is up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at two amazing electric motorbikes made in Vietnam, both by Vinfast. So we're going to start off with the Vinfast Klara, and we're also going to look at the Vinfast Impes. Alright, with both bikes being made by Vinfast, they use the same rechargeable batteries. The Vinfast Klara has slots for 2 batteries, but can run on only one, whereas the Vinfast Impes only has 1 slot. The battery gives a similar range on both bikes, however, the Impes, being slightly lighter than the Klara, can go a bit further on 1 battery charge. Now let's take a look at both of the bikes. The first thing that's apparent is that the Vinfast Klara is a much bigger and heavier bike than the Vinfast Impes. Both bikes are designed to be able to hold either 1 or 2 people, however, you can probably fit a lot more on the Vinfast Klara. The driver usually sits at the front of the bike, and then both bikes have footrests that come out for the passenger on the back seat. The Impes ones come out like this, whereas the ones on the Klara come out from underneath. This allows a comfortable place to rest your foot when you're not driving the bike, and the driver can put their feet up in the front. Alright, so let's look at the controls on the bike now. Being electric bikes, they're very intuitive to ride. All you really need to know is you turn the right handle to accelerate, and then you have brakes on both sides. Next to our acceleration handle, we have our parking mode indicator. So we use this to enter and exit parking mode. More on that later. Next we have our light settings, whether we want them off or all the way on. And then we have our sport and eco mode. So eco mode conserves battery life generally, and sport mode gives you a faster acceleration. Then we have our central LED display that displays vital information such as range, battery life, speed, and similar things like that. Then on the left side, we just have a handle that doesn't twist to rest your hand on. We have the horn, the turn signals, and then the ability to turn on and off your high beams. And then you have the standard mirrors on both sides, which are adjustable. And then this phone mount is actually added in. This didn't come with the bike. So now let's go ahead and compare that to the Vinfast Klara S. So it's actually almost identical. On the right hand side, you have your acceleration handle with brakes. You have your parking mode on and off thing. You can choose your various settings for lights. You'll notice that a lot of the buttons and switches on this one actually feel a little bit nicer than the ones on this one. This one is, after all, a more expensive bike. And once again, we have the same eco and sport mode. We have our central display indicating, again, the information like speed, all the kind of stuff you'd expect to find like in a car. Toggle our high beams on and off. Again, this handle doesn't twist, but we have brakes. And then once again, we have our turn signals and our horn. Alright, the next thing to look at is how we can turn the bike on and off. So for the Vinfast Impes, it's a lot simpler. We have just one very simple key, no electronics. We put it in and spin it for on and off. Now for the Klara, it's a little bit more complicated. So the Vinfast Klara also uses a similar key, but with slightly more theft protection. So the first thing you'll see is that you can actually just lock the keyhole by pushing this button. Which means someone can't try to pick the lock to get in. And then what's cool about this key is it actually has this thing on the end, which you can put in and use that to unlock your keyhole. And then again from here, you can simply go to on or one of the many other modes. Another thing about this bike is it has this standard key, but it also comes with this electric sort of key set to do some other things, which you don't have on the Impes. So with this electric sort of key thing, we can actually lock and unlock the bike. So normally standard on motorbikes is even when you take the key out, you could still roll the bike forward and backwards. But for this one, we actually have the ability, I'll show you right now, we can go ahead and lock the bike, which means now we can't roll it back and forwards. And then we can also unlock it. And then we could also play an alarm, which I don't really want to do right now, but you get the idea. And then here's just a comparison of the keys. So again, this one is for the Impes, and then these two are for the Klara. So the next thing we want to look at is storage. So let's go ahead and start off with the Impes, which has two compartments. We have one where the battery goes down there, and then we have a storage compartment under the seat. So just by opening this, we see we have this like fairly small storage compartment where you can store a rain jacket, but really not much else. It's really not that deep, but it's still better than nothing. And again, that's easy to open, just under the seat. And then the next one's a little more tricky to get to, and that's actually the battery storage compartment, which is way down here. But we just kind of remove this panel from underneath. I guess it was already unlocked and then I locked it. But if we just pull this one out right here, we can see that's actually where the battery goes. And this battery right here is actually the one for this, so I'll go ahead and put that in now. So you can see, now that we have the battery in there, there's not really much space for anything else. So just again, a note is, the batteries are interchangeable, so this one could go in there and the one in there could go in here. But I just happen to have this one with me at the moment. So putting the cover back on is a little bit of a hassle because you have to reach under the chair to lock this again. But other than that, not too bad. So that's storage on the Impes. So now let's go ahead and move to the Klara. So unlike the Impes, everything is controlled right here from the keyhole. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go to seat open, and that gave a clicking sound, and now we can easily pull this up. Now you'll see this one, we actually have a lot more storage underneath. You can fit like a full helmet in here. I'm not sure how well this is showing up, but this is actually like a really deep space. You can fit a lot of stuff there. And then actually underneath the storage compartment is where the batteries are. So like I said before, this bike has two battery slots. You see we have one in right now. We have a slot for another. Standardly, the bike only comes with one. You can purchase another battery, effectively double your range. But yeah, so battery slots down there. And then, so yeah, we have this storage compartment on top of where the batteries are. And then the Klara also does have this very small storage compartment right up here where you could put some documents, you could put like a face mask, some stuff you don't want to get wet, just some small things. But unfortunately, this compartment does not have a lock. Alright, so let's go ahead and start up these bikes now. So again, it's very easy. Just insert the key, turn it, the screen turns on, and then you have all this information right here. So one thing with both of these bikes is whenever you turn them on, they're in this parking mode, which is safer because it means if you like spin your acceleration thing right now, the bike won't go flying away. So essentially now it's not going to move until you exit the parking mode. And then again here for the Klara, we go ahead and turn it on. And you'll see we're also in this parking mode, which means we don't have to worry about accidentally rubbing that thing for now. So to exit parking mode, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is hold the brakes down and then hold down your parking mode indicator thing right here. And then the parking mode goes back off. And then once again, you can just push it to turn it back on and then hold the brake and the indicator to turn it back off. And then once it's off, everything is really easy. So again, we have all the lights. We have our turn signals, both ways. We have our high beams. I guess we don't need those right now. We have our horn. And then, yeah, just accelerate. So spin it and off we go. So with the Klara, it's almost identical. There's only one additional step, which is you have to kick up the kickstand before you're allowed to exit parking mode. But then again, hold down the brake, hold parking mode, exit it, and then once again you have everything working. You can like toggle between sport and eco mode. You can turn your lights on, turn signals, horn, and then once again just right handle and you can accelerate. Alright, so in my opinion, these are both really good bikes. They both work very effectively for city commuting. So a little bit about the price. I'll put it on the screen. I believe the Klara is about twice as much as the Impes, but that's in part because you have this much bigger frame, you have a much more powerful motor, and you have the ability to have a much larger range. But again, if you're just within a city, that might not be super useful for you. So even though this bike is a lot heavier than this one, because its motor is a lot stronger, I'd say the Klara does have a little bit of a faster, zippier acceleration than the Impes, but they're actually very comparable. Yep, so in a future video I might highlight riding both of them, but that's kind of just the introduction to these two Vietnamese electric bikes. If you're interested or have any questions about them, then just let me know. But yeah, these are really, really cool bikes, and it's really cool that they're both made in Vietnam. And just one more thing, if you're on the streets, both of these bikes, you will see them. They're actually becoming pretty popular, and you know, they're supposedly better for the environment, so that could be good too. But yep, thank you for watching.